So what we're talking about today, it's a little bit of a follow-on from last week where we were talking about the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual advantages that accrue to us when we start to practice and learn about and read about and get ourselves involved with things like love, kindness, compassion, gratitude, and all of those beautiful practices. So today, what we're actually looking at is creating a synthesis of mind-body work. Now, many of you may know that I did the mind-body medicine training at Harvard Medical School under Dr. Herbert Benson, who is essentially, he's the grandfather of mind-body medicine. He's the chap who wrote many books, including The Relaxation Response, which is one of the most powerful mind-body and resilience-building exercises that we can do. So what we're talking about today is integrative positive psychology and paths to resilience and happiness. So as you see, it does lead on, but I'm actually talking a lot more about positive psychology, to introduce the concepts of positive psychology, because it's a really fascinating topic and there's quite a lot to it, as you can imagine. So today is a bit of a whistle-stop tour, and then what we're going to do at the next part of the presentation today is we're going to be looking at strategies that we can integrate into our lives and the lives of our clients, so that we can actually just get everybody healthier, happier, more resilient overall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start by sharing my screen, and then I will, let's have a little look, share screen. There we go. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we are. Okay, that's the chap. That's the one I want to share. Okay, lovely. So let's make that bigger. Hello, there we are. Happy days, it's worked. Okay, okay, fabulous. So this is a topic that's very, very dear to my heart, as I say, because I did go over to Harvard and do their training, do that course, that one course. I didn't do a medical degree at Harvard or anything like that, so I'm not that not that into it, or Harvard per se. But what I am into massively is positive psychology. It's such an incredibly interesting topic. So let's have a little look at what we're actually covering today. Right, what we're doing is a brief overview of what positive psychology actually is and how it came to be. I'm going to look at factors that coalesce to create a holistic pathway to robust health, happiness, and resilience, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And we're going to look at resilience and positive psychology, creating health through happiness, which is the course that we are launching. And we've got pretty much everything done. I've got loads to show you, and I'm going to actually take you into the course and show you what's in there as well, because we're very, very excited, very proud about it. It's actually, the course itself is next Saturday, not tomorrow Saturday, next Saturday, so I'm going to give you all the details. So what is positive psychology? Good question. Positive psychology complements traditional psychology's focus on pathology. It studies strengths, virtues, and the factors that contribute to a full and meaningful life. Okay, so there we go. Do you know, my mouse isn't quite working, so you have to, it's like, my mouse, they say never work with children and animals. I'm going to have to assume my mouse is some sort of an animal. Moving swiftly on, probably the biggest insight is that happiness is not just a place, but a process. Happiness is an ongoing process of fresh challenges, and it takes the right attitudes and activities to continue to be happy. And this is a statement by Ed Diener, who is a leading psychologist in the positive psychology movement. And this is Marty Seligman. He's often referred to as the founder of positive psychology. He describes positive psychology as the scientific study of optimal human functioning that aims to discover and promote the factors that allow individuals and communities to thrive. Now, as you'll appreciate, as with everything we bring you, it's all fully referenced, and you will, of course, be able to get the recording of this session, and also I will make sure that you can access and get the actual PDF of the session as well. So you'll be able to look at it again and see all of the references if you'd like to chase up the references. So a quick introduction. Before the advent of positive psychology, mainstream psychology focused heavily on the negative aspects of life such as things like depression, anxiety, and they used to call things neuroses and hysteria and so on. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, the DSM, I've actually got one of these. It's a diagnostic manual owned by just about every psychologist in the world. It's a great big fat mighty tome. I'm sure some of you have it as well. Now, up until the early 2000s, there was no comparable manual that systematically classified positive human traits and values. So psychology and psychiatry was really just kind of obsessed, if you like, on what can go wrong with people. And suddenly some brilliant psychologists, Seligman and various others, came along and said, but hang on, people are pretty bloody amazing, actually. Why don't we look at what makes people happy and what we can do to facilitate that more? In fact, between 1887 and 2001, for every 17 psychology studies related to the topic of negative emotions, there was only one ever recorded that related to positive emotions, which is talked about by Myers and Myers et al. A few researchers tackled topics like creativity, optimism, and wisdom, but there was no theory or overarching framework actually bringing all of this wonderful stuff together and uniting it. So what happened and why? What's going on with my mouse? No, doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to play. Before World War II, psychology had three main missions. They wanted to understand and cure mental illness, to improve the lives and productivity of individuals. So you see, it's quite positive. Before World War II, it's quite positive. And they wanted to identify and nurture high talent. But, of course, what happened was, given the humanitarian crisis in the period following World War II, all available psychology resources were directed towards researching and treating psychological disorders. Obviously, they didn't recognize things like PTSD. At that time, they didn't give it a name as we do nowadays, but clearly that's what they were dealing with and the fallout of the horrors of the war. This is how the field of psychology came to operate within a disease framework. One product of this framework is positive. 14 psychological conditions that were considered incurable back then can now be treated. So something good did come out of this perseveration on pathology and negativity and so on. So it's not all bad, but it could have been a lot better. So let's look at some of the theories of positive psychology. Positive psychology was born out of the need to scientifically study the positive aspects of life. The theory of positive psychology has evolved greatly over the last few years. An ever-growing body of research has been uncovering the building blocks of happiness and well-being. Through multiple studies, Martin Seligman found that the extent to which people were aware of and using their signature strengths, for example, courage, persistence, and wisdom, greatly impacted the quality of their lives, as you might expect. Seligman went on to develop something called the Puma Model. He spent years developing this model, and it's a model of well-being called the Puma Model. The model comprises 5 elements that create the foundation of a flourishing life: positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishments. And each of those elements has 3 properties. Okay, so all of those different parts of the pie chart all have something in common. Each of them contributes to well-being. People pursue a particular element for its own sake, not just to help them, facilitate them getting, the other elements. It's legitimate, and people pursue good relationships. They pursue meaning in their lives. They pursue achievement. They pursue positive emotions, and of course, they pursue engagement. So it can be defined and it can be measured and defined independently from the other elements. That's one of the key factors about the Puma model. So let's look at it in a bit more depth. Let's take a deeper look at each aspect of the Puma model. As I say, it consists of those 5 components, the first one being positive emotions. Actually, the Puma model itself is it's not hierarchical. It is a sort of a pie chart, and you can pick at any one particular thing and work on it at any one time. You don't actually have to sort of say, well, I've got to do this one first and do this one second. So this is an arbitrary list, okay? So I don't want you to think there's any kind of hierarchy to this. So Barbara Fredrickson, a brilliant, brilliant psychologist, through her broaden and build theory, explains that positive emotions can build our physical, intellectual, and social abilities. She hypothesized that by broadening our awareness and thought action repertoire, we look for creative and flexible ways of thinking and acting. Over time, this broadening effect builds skills and resources. Fredrickson's research shows that people who experience positive emotions make more connections, create more inclusive categories, and have heightened levels of creativity. So positive emotions, obviously extremely important. So positive emotions also help us perform better at work and strengthen our relationships. So you see how it's linking already into the other parts of the pie chart. What about engagement? Now, I'm going to have a go at saying his name. I did look it up earlier, but now I'm under pressure. It's Mihail Csikszentmihalyi. He's a Hungarian psychologist and researcher, brilliant, brilliant doctor, great writer. He was the person who coined the term flow. He believes that happiness isn't something that simply happens. Instead, Csikszentmihalyi says it's the product of an individual facing challenges that are neither too demanding nor too simple for one's abilities. Flow is an experience of optimal psychological functioning where we are completely absorbed in a task that slightly exceeds our skill level and therefore requires us to stretch to a new level of performance. The best moments in our lives, he says, are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments, they usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. So, for example, I very poorly play the harp. And so what I find is that when I'm practicing, it takes a lot of brain power. I kind of grew up as a violinist, so I'm very good at reading treble clef, but I cannot read bass clef. That's really bad. I'm learning, I should say, I reframe, I'm learning to read bass clef, but my goodness, I still have to literally sit and count the lines and so on. But the point is that activity for me is difficult, but enjoyable, and it's voluntary. Nobody's standing over me cracking a whip saying, you know, get on with playing that harp. I'm sure that you all have similar things that you do that stretch you. And if you do, you find that you just have no idea of the time. You could be doing your activity in a flow state for literally hours, and it will seem like minutes have passed. That sort of encapsulates flow. And that's his book in the original Hungarian. When experiencing flow, concentration becomes so laser focused that everything else seems to disappear. And as I said, perception of time is altered. The incessant voice in our head also quiets down when we're experiencing flow. So you'll find if you're in a flow state, but you haven't got the sort of old nag thing, automatic negative thoughts, or oh my goodness, I haven't managed to go to the shops because I wanted to get this and this for dinner, and so on and so on, you know, all of that stuff that's going on in our brains. The prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for cognitive processes such as self-reflection and self-consciousness, actually shows less activation during states of flow, which is quite interesting, because what it means is that the result of that is a heightened level of performance and creativity. So we're not sort of standing over ourselves, observing ourselves and criticizing ourselves. All of that is suppressed into abeyance so that we can just get into and be completely absorbed by the beauty of what's going on. So when experiencing flow, concentration, oh, we've already done that page. As I say, my mouse is really playing up. I do apologize. Let's look at relationships now. As humans, we are hardwired. Oh, boy, this is really not working, is it? As humans, we're hardwired to connect with others. We have a need for connection, love, and physical and emotional proximity to others, which of course we will appreciate. The need for connection begins at birth. Human babies depend on others to care for them because they are unable to survive on their own, of course. In addition, humans develop and learn throughout life and about life and navigating the world through interactions with other people and the perspectives they offer. It might not come as a surprise then that studies have repeatedly shown that the one thing that sets happier people apart is the quality of their relationships. Do you remember last week, if you were on the tutorial last week, we were talking about the power of sociability and social connections to actually enable us to experience and to enjoy an extra up to 9 years of healthy lifespan, which is pretty blooming phenomenal. So, you know, that is something that is well worth considering. So, what else? Psychiatrist Robert Waldinger is behind one of the longest and most complete studies of adult life. The study followed 2 cohorts of men for about 75 years, starting in 1938. These men answered surveys every 2 years about the quality of their marriages, job satisfaction, and social activities. Every 5 years, the researchers examined the subject's physical health. The study had one question to answer: what keeps us happy and healthy? The results revealed a very, very simple answer: good relationships. Dr. Christopher Peterson, he was one of the most extraordinary and beloved by the psychology and psychiatry profession. He was a wonderful, wonderful man and a brilliant writer, well worth looking up his work. He summed it up perfectly with his very famous quote: other people matter. In fact, actually, Peterson would start his lectures by standing at the lectern saying, other people matter. And it's absolutely true, isn't it? You couldn't say it clearer than that. The other thing that we also find brings us immense happiness and really improves quality of life is meaning. Seligman, going back to Marty Seligman, believes that our level of well-being is affected by our choices, attitudes, and behaviors. There are no shortcuts. Well-being takes effort and persistence. And while positive emotions are necessary to a healthy life, fostering a deeper, more enduring sense of well-being requires an exploration of meaning. Now, you may have been with me for my Ikigai tutorial, which we did late last year. It was a really nice presentation. It talked about the importance of having meaning in life, why we get up in the morning, what is our why. Seligman says, use your signature strengths and virtues in the service of something much larger than you are. That's all about meaning. It's all about having purpose in life. He also states that authentic happiness is a preface to the meaningful life, and that while it's possible to take drugs to generate the effects of positive emotion and pleasure through pharmacology, it is not possible to synthesize the positive effects of being in the flow or experiencing meaning, that state of meaning. When we only chase pleasure for its own sake and fail to use our strengths towards something meaningful, we might squander our potential. But when we apply and develop our unique strengths and virtues towards something bigger than ourselves, we experience a deeper sense of satisfaction. Now, going back to the socialization and the benefits that accrue to us from socialization, it was found in research that not only do good social ties give you that extra 9 years of healthy life, but the working towards a goal together, a common goal, is one of the healthiest things you can do. It reduces inflammation, it normalizes blood pressure, it normalizes cognitive functions and improves cognitive function in people, particularly if their cognitive function is starting to decrease. So we cannot underestimate the importance of social ties. Accomplishments are also very important for our health and well-being. People who feel personally involved in achieving their goals indicate higher levels of well-being and are in a better health than people who lack a sense of direction in their lives. Not all goals contribute equally to well-being. Goals that lead to well-being are personally meaningful. So my goals might be meaningful to me, but they may not mean anything to you at all. I want to learn to play a particular piece on the harp. It happens to have been in Lord of the Rings, and it's really lovely. It's very elfin. It's the piece of music where they are, I'm trying to think, Aragorn and his lady are sort of talking, and it's the background music, and they're talking before he goes off to fight the battle, and it's just very elfin and elven and lovely, and that's meaningful to me. But other people might just think, no, I'm going to go out and score a hat trick this weekend, if of course we were allowed to go out and play football. But anyway, coming back to this and the point of accomplishments, in the early 60s, Seligman was working in Professor Byron Campbell's lab at Princeton University. At that time, the prevailing theory of motivation was drive reduction theory, which states that all animals act based simply on the need to satisfy their biological needs. Seligman thought there must be more to it than that. But then, in 1959, Robert White published an article entitled Motivation Reconsidered, the Concept of Competence, which went against drive reduction theory. So things started to get quite interesting at this point. In it, he argued that rather than just satisfying biological needs, people and animals often acted for the sake of mastery over their environments, which is quite intriguing. Seligman looked at this and he found it to be true. We often pursue accomplishment for its own sake, even if it doesn't translate into an increase in positive emotions, meaning, or the quality of relationships. So, how do we shift our perspective to help incorporate these other aspects that help humans thrive? Well, a brief summary of that is Seligman again. He explains how positive psychology and his holistic study of happiness. He says he's trying to broaden the scope of positive psychology well beyond the smiley face. Happiness is just 1/5 of what human beings choose to do. So it's just such an interesting topic. And we have all of these different drives that drive us towards being happier, psychologically healthier, emotionally healthier, and of course, physically healthier. So positive psychology is one part of the picture. But in complementary medicine, we bring a whole other side to the picture, don't we? Because we approach life and treatment and looking after our clients and patients in a very, very different way to the way that the psychologists do it. So, what else can we do holistically to increase happiness in ourselves and others? First of all, and again, this is not a hierarchy, but these are ideas that I've been mulling over for many, many years, and again, looking at the research in this. When we cultivate a sense of awe, for example, in this picture, looking at the magnificent Grand Canyon, or listening to a Bach oratorio, or watching, watching a magnificent ballet, or looking at a fantastic painting, anything that inspires awe in you, again, reduces your inflammation levels. It improves your cognitive function. It improves your blood sugar levels. It improves your immune function by adjusting the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and it has and adjusting inflammatory, so pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines. It also has an epigenetic effect upon us as well, so that it's one of these factors that, you know, the old saying, you know, you don't need to drown in your gene pool. And another old saying is genetics loads the gun, but actions pull the trigger. Lifestyle pulls the trigger, some people say. And it's absolutely true. So we can be born with a set of genes that may be coded for all sorts of conditions, heart disease, cancers, autoimmune illnesses, and. But the point is that lifestyle and lifestyle modulations, including cultivating things like a sense of awe, getting out into the forest and forest bathing and what have you, these things actually switch on or off certain genetic certain genes. And so it means that although our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents may have had a predisposition or propensity towards creating or producing a particular type of pathology, it does not mean that you too are actually destined to reproduce that. It's so interesting, because I think there's a huge placebo effect. Actually, no, we should say nocebo effect, which is, if you believe something is going to harm you, it will harm you. If the opposite to placebo, if you believe something's going to be helpful for you, it will help you. So there's a nocebo effect in thinking about, oh, my gran had this, my granddad had that, my mum had this, my dad had that, and so on. So thinking about and choosing your thoughts very carefully is crucial. So cultivating a sense of awe is just one of the things that we can do that has this very distinct epigenetic effect upon us. And then the next thing is nature. As I say, getting out into nature. If you can get out into the forest or the park, or if you can walk along the beach or whatever, it really has a dramatic effect. Again, all of those epigenetic factors come into play, and of course, measurable differences in physiological output, such as reduced cortisol levels, therefore modulated immune function, and so on. So it is just, nature is so curative. If you can't get out into nature, get yourself a little plant in a pot and nurture it, because the research actually done by Ellen Langer at Harvard, one of my favorite researchers, she actually did a wonderful study where they gave elderly people in a nursing home, a plant to look after. And because they had something to nurture and care for, it gave them purpose in life. And that actually dramatically changed all of their outcomes, their health and well-being, their ability to cope, and it improved their cognitive function and staved off dementia to a great degree. So what about nourishment? Again, a massive epigenetic effect upon us. As you know, the research shows that if we either have a fully plant-based whole food diet, or if you can't get yourself to that point just yet, reduce your intake of animal protein, because as we know, animal protein produces a very pro-inflammatory environment, an acidic environment, and it has epigenetic effects of increasing things like heart disease, cancers, and all of the illnesses that we wrongly associate with being a natural part of aging. So moving yourself to being far more plant-based, if not totally plant-based, as we know, is a very, very smart idea. No debate about that. It's been in the Lancet, it's been in the BMJ, it's been in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. So it's not just us on our side of things saying this. Everybody's saying it in conventional medicine as well. So they're starting to suddenly wake up and smell the coffee, which is probably a really bad analogy. What about the next thing that's going to make a massive difference to our health, happiness, and well-being overall? Making sure that your sleep is good. Good sleep hygiene is absolutely essential. As you know, no screens after 10 or even 9. If you can bring yourself to get off your screens before 9, so much the better. Making sure you sleep in a fully dark environment is very, very important. And also possibly using things like earplugs if you sleep with a snorer and so on. All of these things will contribute to you having better sleep. I've spoken about this at great length, so I'm not going to go into it. And I think that I'm sure that you have more than enough information on that. Exercise, of course. Now, I always talk about the triad of exercise. I believe that there are 3 types of exercise that we all need to do. One is steady state cardio, which is walking for at least half an hour a day, at least 5 times a week. So that's a minimum. That's the bare minimum. You've got to get out and do that, out into fresh air if you possibly can. It makes a huge difference. So that's steady state cardio. So that's good for your heart and so on. We're not talking about running and really and doing aerobic work. This is steady state cardio. So you're pushing your heart rate to a certain level, but you're not stressing the heart. That's very, very important. The next type of exercise that's crucial for everybody, for hormonal reasons, for production of human growth hormone which rewinds our body clocks, is resilience, resistance work. Okay, I'm getting too excited. Resistance training. So that's body weight exercise, lifting weights, all of those sorts of things. Again, I know that you know all of that. So again, but please remember it's part of the exercise triad. And then the third part of the exercise triad is mindful exercise. Things like yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, all of those things that actually take you out of yourself. You're moving your body. As you know, the research on these is just through the roof. It just goes to show that, you know, all of these different types of exercise, they're great by themselves, but as a gestalt, brought together, they make a phenomenal difference to our health and well-being. And of course, relationships. Now, bear with me because I'm going to have a quick swig of my juice here. That is nice juice. I've got beetroot, cucumber, lemon, and lemon. And what else have I got today? Celery. Yeah, it's good. It's really nice. So, relationships. Now, we spoke about relationships and connection and so on earlier on, and I cannot begin to tell you how important good relationships are. Now, if you remember last week, do you remember the slides that I showed you about the men who were students at Harvard in the 50s, and they were studied as they went through life, and they were asked questionnaires about closeness to one parent or both parents, or lack of closeness to one parent or both parents. And the ones who had the lack of closeness from one or both parents had anywhere from 78% to 100% of them had chronic diseases diagnosed in midlife. So lack of parental closeness is very, very deleterious to health. But the point is, I'm not under any illusion that we've all had perfect, relationships with our parents. And so there are, thank goodness, by all of these other things that we can do to become healthier and happier and more robust and more resilient, we can actually offset damage that was done in earlier years by following these fantastic steps that we've been going through today. Finally, action changes things. This is all well and good, but unless we integrate these things in ourselves, and unless we actually start to help our clients and our patients, none of this matters if we're not going to take action. So, as always, I've got all of my connection details, so ways that you can contact me and so on. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me. It's never a problem. It's Jayney@the-cma.org.uk, and you've got the telephone details and the general office admin address and so on. I think most of you are probably in my Jayney Goddard Masterclasses Facebook group, and also I've got on the health and wellbeing side, I've got the Rewind Your Body Clock Facebook group as well, which is it's a lovely group as well. So come and join me there. And then obviously you all know the CMA website. That's the normal copyright notice that just goes at the end of all of our presentations. I'm going to come back to you now and stop sharing the screen. Right, hello, I'm back. Jolly good. So, right, I just want to show you now. So any questions so far? Is everything clear? I'm just going to have a quick look down. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right. Odette, that's interesting. It seems that the related Saturday is the International Day of Happiness. Odette, is that the 27th of March? I'd seen it coming up. Oh, the 20th. Right. Okay. Yes. I knew it was coming up, and I thought, gosh, I didn't think it was the same. So that's tomorrow, isn't it? That's tomorrow, Saturday. Yes. Okay. Oh, okay, everybody. So we have to be happy tomorrow. Okay. So what I wanted to do is to talk about, I know I've had so many questions about, the resilience and positive psychology training that we're doing for you. The subtitle is called Creating Health Through Happiness. I'm going to share my screen again, and because I want to give you a sneaky peek behind the scenes. So if you bear with me 1 second, I'm just going to go back to that. Okay, so here we go. Right, let me share that. There we go. So what actually happens is that we, as you know, we've created this absolutely amazing course for you. It's got 2 tracks. The first track is, or first level, is it's the Cpd certification track. Okay, so it means you do the course with me on the day. It will give you all of the skills that you need to know to work with your patients and clients, to actually be able to work with them on a positive psychology, resilience, loving kindness, and general sort of health, psychological, emotional, spiritual health and well-being model. Okay, so what it does is it gives you an extra therapeutic string to your bow. You know, it's important that we practitioners have as many ways of working with people as possible, and this work is needed now more than ever. So if you want to add another training, another qualification to your bow, to your therapeutic tool set, or your string to your bow, then come and do the course with me on the 27th. If, however, you've always had a yearning to teach, and to actually teach students how to do all this work and to have them take it out there to their clients and so on, then you can join me again on Saturday. We'll do exactly the same training, but I will need you to do an extra 2 hours, an hour of mentoring and then another hour of assessment. And they are split approximately a week apart. So you'll come back to me and I will do mentoring because I want to find out how you'll be using the training, who you'll be using it with, what your setup is, and I'll mentor you in getting that all set up and getting it going as a course. And then you will come back to me about a week later. This isn't set in tablets of stone, because if that's not convenient for you, we can work around you. But it needs to be fairly close, because I want you to keep the momentum going. And this is called the licentiate level, okay? And so the second week, you'll come back and I'll do an assessment with you, so I know exactly where you are, so we know exactly how you're going to be delivering your course, and that you are good to go, and that we can give you our seal of approval. So that's the principle, and we'll send you the link and it'll take you to this website. This is our teaching platform, and we're going to be adding other courses here as well in due course, but this is the training. So I'm going to click on that, and this is where you get to when you get through to the actual training page. And so you can see it's got all of the details, what the topics are, why we're doing this course. It's because literally so many people are suffering terribly badly with depression and anxiety and, oh, you name it. I mean, it's just a ghastly time. It really, truly is. Times are hard for everybody, but, with lockdown and how tough things have been for us all over the last year, it's just been diabolical. So people are suffering, and I really want you out there giving this material and taking it out there and actually teaching it if you feel so inclined. And if you're a practitioner, as I say, who hasn't done teaching before and you want a course, you can think of this as basically a course in a box. We're giving you everything you need to actually go out there and run a course, set up a course. So what are the topics we're covering? Well, we're covering positive psychology, resilience, loving kindness, purpose, ikigai, self-awareness, self-care, mindfulness-based stress reduction, relationships, neuroplasticity, and the neurobiology of happiness, which sounds like an awful lot to get into a day, but the way that it's taught, it actually isn't, because as you can see, it all kind of links together in this most amazing way. And it's just joyful. It really is. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be so lovely to be with you and to do all of this. As I say, there are 2 different levels, so that's where we talk about the different levels. So we start on the 27th of March, so that's the training day. We start at 10, we finish at 5:30. So it's not horrendous. And importantly, so that you know, there are plenty of breaks throughout the day. I don't believe in, I've just been doing a course myself, and it's been absolutely like watching paint dry, because it's been anatomy and physiology, but delivered via Zoom and delivered by looking at somebody's sort of papers on screen. And it's been really, really, really hard. And they overrun on time, and they do everything that I really don't believe in doing. I believe in respecting your time. And when we have breaks, when I say we're going to have breaks, we have breaks, and we break for lunch. And I just make sure that you get plenty of time to move around, to refresh push yourself so that it doesn't become arduous. That's really, really important that you know that. Now, my top tip for the day is come into the Zoom room about a quarter of an hour, slightly earlier. I'm going to be there from 9:30, so it gives us a chance to say hello and chat. Once you're sure that you've got it all set up, then you can go off and have a cuppa, pop to the loo, whatever you want to do. But come back and then at 10, because we start bang on 10 o'clock. So who is the training for? Now, you've got to be somebody working with people. I had a really interesting communication from somebody who is a canine psychologist and behaviorist, but of course, in doing that work, she's actually working with people. She said, so I'm qualified in canine behavior and therapy, but actually, you know, I'm working with people and I end up counseling them and so on. Would this work for me? And I thought, actually, yes, it would work for you, because you are actually qualified in animal behavior, but it does mean that you are, as I say, working with others. So it's also okay for teachers, for carers, for anybody who already has a caring qualification. Ideally complementary medicine, because you know that's who we are at the CMA. But if you know somebody who might be interested and they are in a caring profession, let them know about this, because it might be ideal for them. I mean, teachers, my goodness, can you imagine? It's so useful for them. So, you know, they're dealing with stressed students and so on. Nurses are an ideal group as well. Doctors are an ideal group. Anybody who's under deep stress really does need this. So what can you do with this training? In a nutshell, there's a lot you can do. We've just given you a few ideas here. So if you're already teaching, you could add this training into your existing courses. It's a fantastic adjunct to all complementary medical disciplines. If you're in practice and you'd like to begin offering courses, as I say, it's a fabulous way, very, very, very easy, stressless way, because we give you all the teaching material of running a course. Fantastic. The next thing is think about where you could deliver this training. It genuinely opens up the most amazing avenues that you might not have considered. You can, of course, choose to work with your clients and just deliver wonderful positive psychology and resilience tips and techniques as you're working with them. So let's say you're a massage practitioner, then what you can do is you know how you talk with your clients. You can actually say, well, have you considered maybe doing this and this and this? And so lots and lots and lots of things that you can do to support people with these skill sets under your belt. Think about going into new environments with this work. You could take it into workplaces, corporate environments. What about giving talks to GP surgeries for doctors and staff, all of whom are incredibly stressed at this time? What about taking the work into hospitals? All the staff there are harassed and stressed, doctors, nurses, healthcare assistants and more. Schools, teaching staff and support staff, they are under so much pressure. They would really benefit from this information. In fact, just think of any environment where people are stressed, harassed, and would benefit from self-care, compassion, loving kindness, happiness, and resilience training. That's pretty much everybody. Also, really important, think about how going into these other environments and giving talks and whatnot, okay, think about how you can then introduce what you do as a practitioner into the conversation. So again, it doesn't just end there with you giving a talk. It then enables you to actually say, and this is what I do, and set out your stool, and this is how it helps people. So again, you're able to promote your core practices as well by taking this into places. So it's a really quite exciting thing. And the fees are, we've got two separate fee structures, CMA members and non-members. CMA members, obviously, we reduce the fees because we believe in giving you really good loads of membership benefits. So if you want to just do the certification course, which is just the day, and that leads to CMA CPD and enables you to be able to work with your clients to be able to give them these skill sets, it's £97. If you want to do the trainer training, which is the license track, it's £297 because we've got those two extra training times and linking in with me and support from me and mentoring and so on. So then I just say there that the next thing is that, and we renew the license every year because we need to make sure that the standards are still there and actually give you extra tools as more research in the field comes out. For non-members, it's £197 for the certification course for your CPD, and for the licentiate the trainer license track, it's £397. And some people have already contacted me and saying, actually, so I'm not yet a CMA member. It would pay me to join the CMA and actually then get the lower rate. And yes, actually it would. So if you're not yet a member, because I know we've got all sorts of people from all sorts of environments joining us on these tutorials, think about joining, because aside from this, we give you so many benefits. We do so many things. For example, today, I've had a fabulous day where I have been recording interviews with CMA members to put up on YouTube to showcase their practices. And it's brilliant because it gets over the ick factor and it gets people into being able to do YouTube videos. By taking all the pain and the stress away from it, because you've got me there as a friendly interviewer asking you questions about your practice or your school or what have you. And you know how if you're a Brit, you can't blow your own trumpet? It just gets really, really, really icky and embarrassing, just sort of sitting there saying, and I do this, and I do that, and I'm fabulous, and I'm great, and I do this. If somebody's actually asking you questions, then what happens is that you can, in all honesty, answer the questions and showcase yourself so well. And of course, I also make sure that we talk about how people can contact you, and also underneath the videos, we actually then put all your contact details, and we can also do keywords and tags for you. If you saw my video on setting up a YouTube channel, you'll know about those, but it enables you to be found more easily. So it grows your organic reach and it gives you yet another place to be seen out in the great wide world. So, you know, please, if you haven't booked yet, please, please, please contact us and get booked in, because these things are working so well. We also give you a copy of the video so that you can put it on your website or wherever you want to put it, or your own YouTube channel. So there you go. That's a little aside. So obviously, ultimately, this course, why now? I think it's a no-brainer. Why now? Well, because we need it. I think that's you know, really it, isn't it? End of story. So what happens is when you click on enroll in course, you get to the booking bit. So if you click on whichever level you're on, make sure you click the right one. So have a good read so you know you're in the right place. And there we go. So that just shows you how you pay. Some lovely testimonials from people on my previous courses. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was blah, 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 blah. Let me just see if I can get, there we go. Okay, so if you'll have all of that info there. We'll send you the link probably tomorrow. But what I do want to do is show you the CMA site. If you go to the CMA site, if you want to refresh your mind on all the all of those bits and pieces I just went through, click on this bit here, new CMA course. Okay, and this is where everything is. And we're not going to give you the link to join the course right now, purely because I've still got to do a few little tweaks on the back end. We're using a fabulous platform called Teachable, and it looks great, but there's a lot sort of going on behind the scenes, and I've just got to test it all. And it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. Doesn't everything? So we should be able to give you the actual link tomorrow. So if you do want to do the training, it would be really sensible to contact Roberta. Her details, let me come back to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to come back to the group. Yeah, so Roberta, could you possibly pop your email address in the chat box? And right, okay, and then I'll go over some questions as well. But yeah, if you are interested, do send Roberta a message, and what we'll do is make sure that you get the link when it actually goes live. Okay, so let's have a little look. Susan says, let me just expand my screen a tad. Oh, that's easier to read now. Susan Collins said, hello, Susan. Perhaps it's the reduction in human contact, stressors in relationships, and the stay-home instruction throughout the pandemic that is the greatest challenge to navigating our way through the health crisis. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Honestly, it is just exactly that. It really is. It's been so challenging. I was saying, I think I was saying last week, or possibly in my Facebook Lives this week, that I've actually not touched another human being since the 1st of January, because I'm by myself. I would normally, prior to that, I was up and down to my mum. But the thing is that, I'm in East Sussex, and we had this very, very, very virulent strain suddenly happen in Kent, the Kent variant. And I just thought, I'm not taking anything. I'm not running the risk. I mean, I had no symptoms, but you just don't know. You could be asymptomatic, or you could have been in contact with somebody. So I just took the decision just to, knuckle down. And literally, it's been really tough, really, really tough. Not touching another person for 3 months. Whoa. Nearly 3 months. Yes, Jessica says, are there any other dates? Not yet, Jessica. We don't have any other dates in the diary yet. We're going to run this one first, and then we're going to see how it pans out and just how many people join this one, because obviously I've then got to schedule for the people who are doing the license track. I've then got to schedule all of their mentoring and assessment meets in, sessions in, I should say sessions, yeah. So Vanessa also says, are there any other days? Of course, I'm already booked on a perinatal mental health practitioner course. Well, that's good. That sounds great. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Right. Okay. So Catherine says, a great course. How do we register and pay? Well, that's it. We'll send you the details. We're thinking probably tomorrow you'll get those. Can I give a couple of EGs of tips and techniques? Now, Beryl, can you expand on that? Because I'm not sure what you mean. So if you can, drop me a note and expand on that, so I make sure I answer your question correctly. Lisa says, how much does it cost to be a CMA member? Okay, it's £150 for the year, but we let you pay monthly if you would like to do so. So it's £13.76. Have I got that right, Roberta? No. Roberta, could you please tell me how much it is? 13.
It's £13.46 a month.
46.
Or £154.12 if you pay annually, and that includes the PayPal fees.
Yes, that's it. Thank you very much. I knew it had a 6 on it.
I've actually added it in the chat box there for anyone.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. So it's very, very affordable. Oh, and by the way, with the license tracks, we do have 3 months payment. So, you can pay up front if you want to. If you don't want to, if it doesn't work for you, you can spread the fees over 3 months. So it's actually, in fact, I've got that down here, I do believe. I shall tell you. Yeah, no, it's, right, I can actually tell you very, very easily. This is actually on the site. So I don't want to navigate away from that. So I'll just quickly do the maths for you. Right, so the 297 divided by 3 is 99 a month, and but because we have a processing fee, we do add a little extra for the processing fee, purely because that's the teachable platform. It's not money going to us, so they add a little money on. So it's about £100 spread over 3 months, and then the 397 is what, say 400 divided by 3 is 133 spread over 3 months. So it does make it easier, and yeah, it seems to be quite well received when we've spoken to people about it. Gillian said, how much is CMA membership? So we've just covered that. Right, okay. CMA membership, right? So Roberta's very kindly put the membership fees there: £13.46 a month, or £154.12 for the year if you pay by PayPal, or if you just want to do a bank transfer, which you can do, you're more than welcome to do so. It's £150. Roberta's email address is there. So if you want details and the launch, the actual link to get to the launch, we can do that. Oh, Rachel says, can I ask how the teen course differs, please? Rachel, it's very similar to the existing course, but we will have certain elements and printouts and so on that will actually gear towards teenagers. So I know that you mentioned this to me before. This is something you're very, very interested in doing. So that's something else other people may not know. We are also going to be doing a version of this for people working with teenagers. So it will be exactly the same as what we're offering, but with very specific things that are geared towards teenagers, because they respond to different types of exercises in slightly different ways. And it's based on the neurology of the developing adolescent and teen brain. So there are slightly different things, and we're going to set it up as a different course. And once we see exactly how this course launch goes, we'll then be able to let you know when we'll bring the teen course. Out of interest, does anybody else have an interest in the teen course? Because we'd love to know if it's something that you might be interested in, because obviously we will prioritize it if you have. So if you can let me know in the notes, that would be really helpful. Odette says self-hugs are very powerful. Yes, they are, absolutely. Yes. I've been doing this. I have actually, and a friend of mine does havening, and I don't know if you know about havening, but Gina does havening, and she taught me the havening techniques, and it really works. It really does. If you're feeling stressed out or you're feeling out of sorts, just giving yourself a there, it'll all be okay, and a lovely, lovely stroke. Oh, it feels so nice. And it increases oxytocin. It works. I mean, it's not rocket science. This stuff works. Right, okay. Oh, Fiona says she'd like to know about the teen course too, please. Yes, of course. Pip had to go. That's fine, Pip. Thank you. Thank you for your lovely kind words. That's very, very nice of you. Thank you. Odette says, right. Ah, yes. Okay. Now, Odette, that's a direct message, so I'm not going to read it out, but I'm going to précis it, and saying that, you know, anybody who is a happiness facilitator and so on, maybe doing things like laughter yoga and what have you. Oh my goodness, what a great bolt on this is. Absolutely fantastic. It really would work in that context. Right, okay, Beryl says, it talked about providing tips and techniques and strategies. I was wondering if you could give an example of one. How much of the course is theoretical and how much is practical tools? Well, very, very good question. So we have amazing things. We have a fabulous ebook. You will get this is the positive psychology. I think it's about 58 pages ebook. This is just, we're so proud of this. It's fantastic. So you've got the workbooks, you've got worksheets that you actually work through. So that's very practical work. You've got reading. You've got a recommended reading list, which is also mandatory for anybody doing the licentiate track. You do not have to read the books before doing it, because I appreciate it's next week, so don't worry. But it will be stuff that I really do insist. It sounds very sort of, and I don't mean to sound bossy, but I am. I am bossy, I've been told. But what I'm saying is that I'm not going to sort of stand over you and wag my finger, but you will need, if you're going to take this work out and teach it, you will need to do the reading. Very, very important. But my God, they're great books. We've only given you the best, most readable, most enjoyable books. Okay, we don't want to make this in any way arduous. It's got to be fun. It's got to be fulfilling. It's got to be enjoyable, because otherwise it wouldn't be a positive psychology and resilience training course, would it? It wouldn't be creating health through happiness. It would be miserable, like the course I was doing. So, and I've got to finish it off on Sunday. I am not looking forward to it. So tips and techniques and strategies. Yeah. So obviously in the training, we've got the various, we've got the various modules, that's the word, modules. Each module has a discussion, and so I'll be teaching how to integrate that, exactly what the steps are that you need to do to be able to deliver. Let's say it's a module on loving kindness. So you'll know exactly what loving kindness is and exactly how to deliver, let's say even a talk on loving kindness. And you know what? You get the PowerPoints, you get everything that you need. So quite honestly, we're giving you just everything that you need to get out there. So you'll also go on the day, you'll be going through some exercises. Oh gosh, you name it. There's quite a lot to it, but as I say, it's very, very enjoyable. For example, loving kindness. Okay, so one of the things, an example of a loving kindness exercise would be learning how to do metta meditation, because it's a fantastically well-proven type of meditation that you can take on and teach to other people. Teach to your clients. Okay, so that's an example of the types of things that we'll be doing. We would be talking about things like building resilience through things like, I don't know, getting out into nature and so on. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also talk about the evidence base for it. So again, if you were going out and giving a talk at a doctor's surgery, let's say, and somebody said to me, so how do you know that you know that? They asked you a really ontological question. And you'd say, well, here's the thing, here's the research. And my goodness, you'll get so much respect for that. So yeah, so we'll be fully equipping you. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, just let me know. Paulina says, if I'm in the US in Pacific time zone, would I be able to take the full course? Yes, Paulina, the only issue is you'd have to get up rather early in the morning. And funny enough, actually, the course I'm doing in the weekend, we've got a lady who's in California and she's just been setting her alarm and getting up early and doing it. And it's only one day, Paulina, don't forget. And then if you want to do the license course, I will make sure that your sessions, your mentoring and your assessment sessions are at a time that is suitable for your time zone. We can work with everybody, okay? But for the actual day, yes, you'll need to set your alarm early, I'm afraid. I feel so mean saying that, but people do it, it's okay. Yes, now Odette said, did I say there's an additional license fee? Yes, it's £200 annually because, again, you'll get an hour with me, a mentoring hour and an assessment hour. So each of those hours is priced at £100, which quite honestly is very good value, if I do say so myself. But we want to make sure that standards are adhered to. It's very, very, very important, and we need to make sure that that we also make sure that you've got any new research that comes out and that you know what it means and how to interpret that research. So that's very, very important as well. Yeah, Vanessa says that's great Rhea course working with teenagers. Yeah, it's very important, isn't it? And Paulina is also interested in the teen course for sure. That's great. That's lovely. Okay. Liz would be interested in the teen course. Great. Okay, Lisa. Yes, I know. I think you said possibly earlier that you had to go. That's fine. And you'd like to make further inquiries about joining the CMA and doing the course. Great stuff. Just simply, obviously, you've got Roberta's details. Will the course be offered again? Yes, it will be. If you can't make this week, that's absolutely fine. For us, it's a toe in the water. It's the first time we've done the course. I'm not sort of saying, oh God, we know everything about this, the way this course will turn out. We know everything about the course because we've created it, but we don't know everything about how it's going to turn out, insofar as we don't know how much interest we're going to get. We don't know if it's going to just suddenly sort of blow up or suddenly everybody just thinks, but I think it will. I think it's such an important topic, so I think it will be really popular. And obviously we don't want to take we don't want to promise you something until we know just how much my time has to be allocated for the mentoring and assessments, because what I don't want to do is quickly run another course and then find I'm not through the original mentoring and assessments. So we just need to play it by ear. But yes, we will be repeating, because my sense of this is that it's going to be really popular. How many books do we have to read for the licentiate course? I'm not such a good reader these days. Okay, no, I agree, Susan. I'm not either. I'm finding it very difficult to concentrate on reading. But all of the books that we've suggested to you are available as ebooks. And actually, we give you as soon as you sign up for the course, you'll get an email with a link to the course, and you get to the introduction section and it has the reading in it. And we've got all of the links that will take you to Amazon. You don't have to buy them from Amazon. You can buy them from wherever you want to get them, but you can also get the audiobooks as well. Okay, so they are all available as audiobooks. We've got Resilience by Stephen Southwick. We've obviously got Csikszentmihalyi. I could say that earlier. We've got his book on flow, which is fabulous. We've got various others. We've got one in there called Can't Hurt Me, which is really one of the leading books on resilience, by a guy called Dave Goggins, who's Special Forces Army SEAL guy. His book is so fascinating, so entertaining. The childhood he had, I have no idea how he even survived his childhood. It was horrendous. But he's gone on to be this extraordinary guy, a Navy SEAL trainer, motivational speaker. But the only thing is, I will say, he's a guy from the ghetto, so his language is spicy, shall we say. So if you're easily offended by bad language, you might want to give that one a swerve. And I do write that. I have actually made a note about that if you're polite. Okay, so for the licensing course, it's five books. But as I say, you don't have to take them all in one go. You can listen to them as an audiobook. They are fab and really enjoyable, actually. Right, Vanessa says, can we have a reading list even if we're unable to jump on this first course date? Actually, yeah, I don't see why we can't do that. That's a really good idea. Thank you. See, this is the thing. There will be people saying, have you thought about doing X, Y, Z? Because it's new for us as well. So, we like your feedback. Bianca says, the course sounds fantastic. Can't wait. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Bianca. That's so lovely. That's so kind of you. Thank you. So Fiona says, so looking at 600 in total before good teachers? No. Fiona, obviously, as you're a CMA fellow, and so you obviously get in on the membership package, so CMA member rate, which is 297, isn't it? 297, which you can then split across 3 payments. So no. It's the only extra fee is a year later. Okay, so if you want to do the initial training, the prices that we've given you, the fees we've given you, the 297 for the CMA members or the 397 for the non-members, is, make sure I'm giving you the correct information, is, there we go, yeah. Gosh, it's been a very, very long day and my brain is flagging, actually. Right, okay, so just make sure I'm telling you everything. Yes, it is correct, yes. So 297 for the Train the Trainer for CMA members, 397 for Train the Trainer track, Licentiate track for non-members. So in total, that's what you pay in the first year. End of, no extra fees at all, okay? And then it's not till the following year that you actually do you re-license, and it's £200, okay, for those two. It's £100 for the mentoring and then another 100 for the assessment. So it makes it very affordable. And again, if we wanted us to, we can split that cost as well. So we want to make this as affordable and relevant and achievable for everybody as best we can. Charlotte says she's going to book on the course. Yes, great, thank you, Charlotte, and thank you for being at the ICANN conference last week and flying the flag. Then that was really kind of you as well. Thank you. That was a practice development training I did last week for I can never say ICANN. It used to be CAM magazine, and they rebranded, and we'd had a great session. It was really good. Caroline says, great, it sounds really interesting. That's great. Susan says, is the 200 annual license fee the fee for the CMA members fee? It's the fee for everybody. Okay, so that's it. We don't need to mark that up at all, and we don't need to make any changes. Once you're in, you're in. And of course, obviously, we hope that by that time we've seduced you into being a CMA member anyway. I won't make any bones about it, I'll be honest, because it's well worthwhile. Bianca says, yes, Dave Goggins is incredible. I've been following him for a while. He is amazing, isn't he? But spicy. Fiona says, great. So a year later, gotcha. Great. Okay, that's fine. Yes, that's it. You've got it. Okay. Janet says, the course sounds perfect for me on 3 fronts because I teach part-time in a college where some of my students are suffering from anxiety. I'm a Reiki master and also volunteer on a medical ward where many patients have dementia and would have anxiety like the lady I was with today. And I could have given her more strategies to use. Yes. Oh, wow. Do you know what? I find that I'm so touched to think that this work will be taken out to all of these different places. Wow, I'm sorry, I really am. I'm quite emotional, actually. I'm doing the man on the Great Pottery Throwdown. Yes, that is absolutely beautiful, Janet. Thank you for mentioning that. It's beautiful. Roberta says, direct messages to me with regard to last week's webinar recording. The link to this is in this week's newsletter. Oh, okay, so people have been directly messaging Roberta for last week's recording. Yeah, okay, it is in the this week's CMA newsletter. If you don't have it, by any chance, it was a fabulous session. Everybody loved it. Just contact Roberta and she can easily send you a link, okay? Bianca says, who's the author of Resilience book? It's Professor Stephen Southwick. Oh, he is just lovely. He was the man who sat in on my presentation. The presentation I gave you last week was one I actually presented with a few tweaks at the National Association of Health in the USA. And I did not know that Professor Southwick was in the audience, because he is the man in resilience. He's a professor at both Harvard and Yale, running their positive psychology programs. So I was glad I didn't know he was in the audience, but he's just the sweetest, friendliest, loveliest, most gorgeous, loving guy. His energy is just, he's a beautiful person. As I say, the more we read about this stuff, the more we learn about it, it feeds in and it changes us on a DNA level. It's changing our DNA for the better. It makes us happier and healthier in all respects. Rachel says she has to go. I've got to catch up. Oh, that's fine, my love, no problem. Thank you for this. It's so needed. Yes, it is. Odette said, would we be interested to potentially add some laughter techniques within this training? Would love to. And I've done laughter yoga training. What I would suggest is that I won't add it to this training, because we've got a lot to get through. And I want to make sure that we get everything covered, but laughter is so important, and we need to speak, Adept, because we can have a chat about that afterwards, because yeah, it is certainly something that I teach it on my retreats, and we had such a it's just so much fun. Laughter yoga is brilliant. But yeah, definitely laughter. Yeah, contact me, give me a ring, or send me an email and we'll chat. Okay. Roberta says it's also available on the Complementary Medical Association YouTube channel. Yes, of course it is. If you want to go over, and if you don't know about the CMA YouTube channel, you must please go over there. You go to YouTube, type in Complementary Medical Association. Make sure you spell complementary correctly, not with an I. Otherwise, I'll be upset with you. And you won't find the channel. That's worse. And anyway, yeah, make sure that you go there and take a look, because we put all of our tutorial videos up on the channel. Likewise, this one will be up on the channel early next week, as soon as Megan's able to get it up. So yeah, so you can find last week's broadcast over there as well. Thank you. Thanks, Roberta. Thank you for reminding me. Right, Fiona says, do I have any suggestions about what we charge when teaching this further down the line? Actually, no, it's entirely up to you, who you're teaching, who your demographic is. Funnily enough, I've got a really, really, really good video over on the Complementary Medical Association YouTube channel on fees and charging, how to establish the value of what you do, to work out, what your audience would be able to bear, making your charging appropriate, so that people understand the value of you and the transformation you provide. Okay, I do talk about undercharging, which is a real no-no as far as I'm concerned. It is absolutely crucial. I mean, I know, for example, when you do your assessments with me, the following year, and it's £100 and £200 for the 2 sessions. Yeah, sure, that's undercharging according to my normal practice rate by a lot, but we want this work out there. And you've already paid us for a course, so the least we think we can do is to support you by making it affordable. So yeah, so that's what that's about. Catherine says, oh yes, Catherine, thank you. I should have mentioned this. Do we get a certificate? Yes, you do. You get a Cpd certificate from the CMA, and you also get, if you're doing, you get your certification showing that you've done the training, and you get your license certificate if you're doing the license track. So both tracks, you get 2 certificates. One is CMA CPD, and the other one is saying whether you've done the license track or the certification track. Okay, so you're going to actually have 2 certificates to walk away with, which is rather good. And yes, okay, lovely. That's great. Odette, these, I won't actually take these down. You've provided your details there. Thank you to me directly. I won't take them down because I want to, because we've got a lot of questions and so on still to go. So if you can please reach out to me or to Roberta with your contact details, and then we'll be able to get in touch. Okay. Odette says, thank you. Lisa says, thank you so much for today. I'm new to these webinars. Where can I find contact details for joining this course? Okay, Lisa, message Roberta. Her details are in the chat box. Okay, so she's Roberta at the, so THE dash So that's, there she's put it in again. That's fabulous. Thank you very much. And yes, so contact Roberta, because as I say, I'm just doing a few behind the scenes tweaks, and I need to do what's called soak testing, which means I've got to go into it, and I'm going to get Roberta and Megan to, and we're all going to go, and everybody else, we're all going to go in and pretend we're students and just make sure that there aren't any weird things happening that aren't working or anything like that. I just want to make this so perfect for you. And, you know, yeah, so that's why we want to just hang fire just a little bit longer, and we will send you the login details probably tomorrow, if we can actually get everything done by then. I think it will be. Right, okay. And Susan says, great question, Susan. Thank you for asking, because I hadn't said it, but yes, it is fully insurable with, yes, the likes of Balance, but I do actually want to say something about Balance, everybody, at the moment. As you know, we love Balance. We've been with Balance for 25 years. We love David Balin. He's a personal friend of mine, and he is a practitioner. He's a healer. His kids are healers. They are wonderful, wonderful, lovely people. There is a problem with Balance at the moment. Somebody contacted us saying they just contacted Balance, and they were told it would take 2 weeks to get a decision on their coverage. And that's not good enough. That really isn't. And we've raised this as an issue with Balance. It's a COVID issue. It's about them not being in the office and so on. So what we recommend you do is contact Westminster. And yes, Westminster Insurance will cover this. Okay, so you're absolutely fine. You'll be fully covered, and Westminster will insure you for working anywhere in the world as well. And if you wanted to deliver your training online, they will also insure you under the same package for delivering your training online or delivering your work with your clients. You know, if you're working with clients online, you'll be insured to deliver that. You know, any help you're giving them, you will be covered. Okay, so hope that's good, and we think it's good. Right, oh, Roberta says, sorry, my ring light is broken today and I can't see as well. I know, it's awful, isn't it? Poor Roberta, this is the second ring light she's broken. No, it's not true. It's just bad luck. It's just my ring lights I've had for years, and I've dragged them up and down the country. We've got the same ring lights. Me and Roberta got exactly the same ring lights, and for some reason, she's just had bad luck with them. It's just weird. So that's why she's.
I mistyped my email address, and someone noticed, thankfully. And that's why I've got a line across my face, because I've no ring light. So sorry about that. And it is .org.uk at the end of my email address.
Thanks, Roberta. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. What about holistic insurance services? Yes, there shouldn't be any problem for them to cover it. But if you have any issues, then just go to Westminster. Susan says, I'm with Balance. I want to stay with Balance. I'm okay to add this as modality. Yeah, you should be. There shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't. But as I say, they are slow at the moment. That's my only issue with them. And Fiona says, I'm on Balance block scheme with the Alliance of Registered Homeopaths and always understood I'm insured to teach all I am qualified in. Yep, absolutely. Yes, it shouldn't be, as I say, really shouldn't be an issue. The Balance block scheme with the Alliance is basically the same as our block scheme. I think we might be slightly less expensive, I don't know, but yeah, it's worth checking anyway. Anne says, I really enjoyed listening to your webinar today and would definitely like to enroll on the course to tutor level. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. It's really appreciated. If you've got any more questions, I know we're overrunning a bit, and it's always good though, because I think, you know, I would love to hang on and answer your questions rather than just dash off and go and get on with something else. So if you've any more questions, let me know. Roberta, is there anything else that you would like to add? Can't hear you. Unmute yourself, my love. There we go.
There we go. Oh, goodness. No, I was going to mention the insurance side of things, and if anyone needs the telephone number for Westminster.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just give that?
Please. Yes, that'd be great.
01305 839 939.
Fabulous.
So I'll repeat that, 01305 839 939. And that was really all that I'd thought about, Jayney. Thanks. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then something fun, just to finish off, not that this isn't fun, because it is. Something fun to finish off with is that at the beginning of April, I'm starting a 21-day rewind challenge. And if you want to do a spring clean, this is nothing to do with what we've been really talking about today, aside from the fact that it is going to be a really lovely, fun thing to do together. If you go to my website, it's jayneygoddard.com, in remembering the strange spelling of my first name. Go to jayneygoddard.com. You can enroll for the 21-day rewind plan there. And each week we will be going through, it's obviously 3 weeks, 21 days, because it takes 21 days to build or break a habit. And so the first week is all about detoxing. So not just our bodies or anything like that, but actually looking at what have we got under our kitchen sinks? What's in there that could be toxic? What have we got in the bathroom? What have we got in our wardrobes that we no longer need? What have we got in our cupboards? So it's about clearing out, decluttering, detoxing. We'll be starting to introduce things like juices and smoothies and things like that, but not too arduous, and starting light exercise. But the brilliant thing is it's like a buddy system, so we can all support each other. And you'll have this really lovely sort of calendar where you can tick off the things that you've done in the day. It's just great fun. The next week, the middle week, is all about establishing new habits. So it's going to be things like what other types of exercise could we do, maybe adding in things like or maybe adding new nutritional things in, maybe assessing your supplementation levels and maybe thinking about, do we need anything else there or not, or removing things. And so it's all about gaining things, bringing things into the fray. And then the third week is all about resilience, funnily enough, and sustainability. So how can we manage to keep all of these new wonderful habits that we've created in ourselves? So we're exercising more, we've got more optimism going on, we're doing loving kindness practice, we're doing meditation practices, we're doing all these wonderful things for ourselves, because I figured we all needed a bloody good spring clean, because lockdown is so miserable. We'll be emerging from lockdown, and I just think we need to just embrace the positivity. So nothing, it's completely free, it's just fun, but it will make a big difference to all of us. And hopefully for me, it'll get rid of some of my lockdown poundage, because honestly, the quarantine 15 is about right. Seriously, no, I've gained 10 pounds throughout quarantine, and it needs to be addressed. So I don't know about anybody else, but oh boy. Okay, my loves. Right, any other questions? Right. Oh, Malcolm's, it's been amazing. Thank you, Malcolm. That's very, very nice of you to say. Gillian says, what are my thoughts on the FHT? I make a point of never, ever, ever talking about any other organisations by name. It's not fair to do so. It's quite unprofessional. And all I can do is tell you about the CMA and how bloody brilliant we are. And the fact, for example, this week, we had 20 new members join this week and a new CMA approved supplier. Our previous weeks, we've been getting 15, 20, 30 new members a week. We are growing beyond all imagining. And the reason is because we are out there, we are supporting our members, we are doing really, really good things for them. We go to the ends of the earth to make sure that we look after you. The difference between us and other organizations is that we're practitioners, we're a non-profit organization, we are set up to support practitioners, training schools, approved suppliers, of course, anybody running retreats and so on. We're doing it for the right reasons, and we're not doing it to make a lot of money. And there unfortunately are some organizations out there that were set up as big businesses, insurance companies and the like, who don't actually do much for their members. And that's it. So I'm not saying any more. Right, okay, so Ruth says, thank you, I've really enjoyed today. I'm excited by the course. I've never studied psychology and feel brain dead after a year of lockdown. Yes. Oh, hope I'll be able to keep up. Yes, you will. The thing is, for me, if I can't make this enjoyable, I've failed, okay? So it's gonna be lovely. It's going to be a day of joy, a day well spent. At the end of the day, I just want you going, wow, you'll be full of energy. You'll be just full of the joys of spring. You'll have all of these amazing new skills. You'll have things that you'll want to integrate for yourself and your loved ones. This isn't all just about working with our clients. This is real life stuff that you'll integrate for yourselves. It's just going to be beautiful, you know. So yeah. Oh, Bianca says, so yeah, you will be able to keep up, Ruth, no doubt about it. Bianca says, count me in for the 21-day challenge. Janet says, sounds great, I'm in. Just to clarify, are we an insurer? No, we are not an insurer. No, we are a professional membership association, and we have insurers that we recommend. Okay, so we every year we scour the insurance companies, and we make sure that we bring you, we negotiate really hard on behalf of our members, and we make sure that we drill down the insurers to their very, 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 very best policy for the very, very, very least money, and part of our service to you. So no, we are not insurers, but to be a CMA member, you must have insurance. It's absolutely crucial. All of the membership categories must have insurance. Right, okay, Sharon says, Rewind Your Body Clock was the best book, been vegan ever since. Thank you, Sharon. That's really lovely to know. I've actually had people sending me photographs like before and after they read the book. Amazing. Really, really amazing transformations. Okay, loves. Anne had to go. That's fine. Off you go, Anne. I've kept everybody far too long, as always. Bianca, thank you. The CMA support during lockdown has been truly invaluable. Thank you. We've had people saying, you saved my business. You saved my, yeah, we know. We worked really bloody hard at it. Okay, the hours of the course, Odette, yes, it's 10 in the morning, but get there early. Okay, so I'll be there from 9:30, but the course starts at 10. The reason we open the doors early, if you like, online, is because we want you to get in, get yourself all set up, make sure your connection's working, everything's good. Then you can happily run off, grab a coffee, grab a tea, pop to the loo, do anything you need to do, stroke the dog, pat the cat, or vice versa, and just get yourself comfy, and then we'll start bang on 10 o'clock. Okay, right, okay, that's super. Thank you so much, really interesting. Hope, yeah, we will run. Oh no, Beryl, don't lose heart. We will definitely run again, but obviously, we just need to see how this one goes, and then we will know when we can run next course. I think this is going to be ongoing. I really don't doubt it, because it's a brilliant course, and the thing is that I think it's so very needed. So yeah, it will happen, don't worry. Finishing time, my love, 5:30. Sharon says, you're amazing. Yeah, so are you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, any more questions, or can I love you and leave you? Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm just going to switch to gallery view so we can see you all. Thank you so much for being with us. It's been beautiful, really lovely. And please keep on shining your beautiful light out into the world. You are amazing. You're doing incredible things for people out there. You are so needed, more so now than ever. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. And obviously I know Roberta echoes that as well.
Yes, I do.
Thanks, my loves. Take care. All the best, everybody. Bye-bye.